Hello, my name is Britt Anders. I'm a professional dance instructor, and the reason for this video is to help you understand what couple dancing is all about and to help convince you that yes, you too can dance. There are many misconceptions about what couple dancing is, and so I'm making a kind of a series of videos so that perhaps one of them will connect with you and help you to understand that couple dancing is for everyone. Now, what couple dancing is not, is it is not a talent. It is a skill. It's something that's learned, just like driving a car or riding a bicycle or doing whatever you do that you do for a living. You had to learn that skill. We actually even had to learn how to stand up and walk. So it's all just a skill. Now, some people have a greater aptitude for it. For instance, some people have more of an aptitude for playing a musical instrument or for singing or for basically whatever it is that you enjoy doing. You do that and you do it well because you have a specific aptitude for it. However, it doesn't mean that they already knew how to do it before they started. So, what couple dancing is its logistical movement based on skeletal structure and a desire of moving, conforming to physical laws. And now, as an example, one of the very, very great, excuse me for this, I'm making this up as I go. This bottle represents a perfect follow for with the exception of one thing, and that is that it cannot supply its own momentum. However, I know that if I apply pressure here, I can predict what's going to happen. If I apply pressure there, I can predict what's going to happen. This is going to be consistent throughout the entire time that I operate with this bottle. If I turn here, assuming of course the cap is on, if I turn here, the bottle will actually turn. If I turn it this way, it will turn. If I tilt it, it will tilt. And it's because of the consistent frame of the bottle itself. Now, if our follows can do that as well, if we can do that with a human being, then she would be able to follow with absolutely no problem. Basically, what dancing is all about is when I stand tall, I have a center line of gravity that goes through my body into the floor, and it comes from the top of my head and goes right down through the center. Wherever that center line of gravity goes, and for those of you who know what a plumb line is, basically if I tilt the plumb line this way, then the line itself will also fall down. A plumb line is kind of like a string with a weight at the bottom. If I hold it over here, the plumb line would be falling straight down from there. If I hold it here, it would be falling straight from here. Well, basically, my body, if I had a plumb line, and I moved with the plumb line, then it would always be straight up and down. My foot would be directly underneath of that. So when I'm dancing with a partner, as a lead, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to move that plumb line from here to over here, knowing that because my partner has a plumb line that goes through her or has a center of gravity that goes through her, then center line of gravity, then all I have to do is move that line of gravity from one foot onto the next foot, and if I push forward at that time, it's also going to cause her to take the next step. So these are the logical methods in which we actually lead. A lot of people think, well, I'm supposed to know how to do this jazz already, and I don't want to look like a fool in front of my lady. And there's just many, many excuses. And if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see that I've also addressed some of those. Well, by way of looking like a fool in front of your lady, I can guarantee you, if you take the step of getting out there on the dance floor and learning how to dance, then your lady is going to have the utmost respect for you. And in 25 years, I've never seen a woman laugh at her partner for anything. All I've ever seen is absolute support from every woman who's come in with a guy. All that I've ever seen is just tremendous support. And why not? Because if you choose to learn how to dance, couple dancing, she derives benefit. So why would she laugh at you? She wouldn't. It would be against her best interest to do so. That's one of the many wonderful things. Basically, you just win kudos. So, the best way to learn. Do not take do not take group classes to start learning how to dance. That is the most difficult way to learn. The reason why it's difficult is because dancing has its own language. Everything that you do has its own language and its own vocabulary, and dancing as well has its own vocabulary. So what the most efficient way to learn is, go take a private lesson from a certified instructor, and preferably one who specializes in teaching beginners and intermediates. And remember, if you get a 1-year instructor versus a 10-year instructor, there's going to be a wide level of experience there. So if you have a bad experience with one instructor, go to another one, and at least give 2 instructors a try, because it's for your benefit. Now, on a private lesson, what you learn is you learn the basics of how to move. You learn the vocabulary of what's going on, the vocabulary of dancing. You understand what you learn what leading and following means, what a triple step is, and what a box step is, and body flight, and things of that nature. You learn these words. Now, the words just describe things that you do on a daily basis, but it's very important to understand what these words are. Then, after you've had, I generally recommend 5 private lessons, then go to a group class. Go to a beginner group class. And what will happen there is you will get the experience of being able to dance with a lot of different partners. You get to follow and lead different people. You learn bulk patterns. Basically, you learn it in a rough form. And then you take it back to your private instructor, and you show him or her that move that you learned. And then that instructor will help you to make that move yours, so that you can use it wherever you want to. After you've done this, then it's also important to practice it. And it's nice to practice it in an atmosphere that is kind of like the party atmosphere that you would use it, but a little more structured. And that's what they call practice parties, or practice sessions. And a practice session is very useful for being able to develop all the social skills of asking someone to dance, of how to get on and off the dance floor, how to hear the music properly, and to practice everything that you've learned in a laboratory setting, so to speak, before you take it out into the world and just use it for dancing. Usually at practice parties, there are instructors available to go up and ask questions about. Or if not instructors, there's more knowledgeable people in dance, more skillful. And all skillful people in the social dance world love to help those who are just coming up in the dance world, just learning their skills. Because someday you may be dancing with them. So these are the best ways to use the lessons. Remember, if you have a bad experience, if you've had a bad experience in a group class, it's because of the fact that you didn't know how to learn within that group class. And in my next video, I will talk about group classes specifically. So hopefully this helps, and if you would like to know more about dancing, please check out my website at www.insightsoftheheart.com. I believe it's right up here. And you can also get a copy of my book, Yes, You Can Dance, written specifically for this purpose. Namaste.